video monitors. And all the monitors, most of the monitors actually are based on one concept. One is called as based on one design, one called as CRT, which is nothing but cathode ray tube, right? Although we are not using cathode ray tube, I mean the output devices we are not using. We are talking about right now LCD and LED. Also, we'll see later on, right? But still, there are some systems in which CRT is being used, right, to generate the images on the screen. So we'll see today the principle behind the CRT in brief, right? I will not discuss much detail into it. So if you want, you can go through this Herne and Becker and the other books, whatever I have already given you. I mean the list, the book list. By the Herne and Becker, you will get the much more idea regarding this. So we'll discuss in brief that what exactly the principle of this CRT and how the images are generated using this CRT concept. Then we'll see the display systems which are based on or designed based on this CRT concept or CRT design, which are nothing but DVST, direct view storage tube, random scan display, raster scan display. And also, we'll talk about this color CRT monitors, right? So what's the difference between the color monochrome and these color CRT monitors? And in color CRT monitors, we'll see two different approaches. One is beam penetration method and another one is shadow mask method. We'll see that how much colors are possible using both the and what are the advantages and disadvantages of both the methods we'll discuss. So initially there is something called as beam penetration method. However, there are some problems with the beam penetration method, so that's why shadow mask method is extensively used in most of the color CRT monitors. The major goal here or the idea is here nothing but to convert an electrical signal that you all know to the visual signal what we are seeing in real, right? So I have found a very good slide. So from where you can see the pictures correctly. So we'll come back to this DVST and this random scan and raster scan, and which one we are using also we'll discuss, right? So let me quickly show you the basic operation of a CRT system, right? The basic design of a CRT system. So if you look at here, if you look at the picture over here, this is, as I mentioned, this represents the basic operation of a CRT. So what it contains is the measure, I mean, I am talking about the most important parts, right? The most important parts what CRT is containing. So one is nothing but the electron gun, another one is the focusing system, and we are having something called as electron beam here and magnetic deflection coils. We'll see in details later on. And there is something called as phosphor coated screen or fluorescent screen over here, right? So the electron gun is nothing but called as here the source of the electrons. And what exactly happens in this type of, I mean, inside this vacuum tube, you can say, right? A beam of the electrons. We'll see in details actually what is this electron gun and what it contains. We'll see in another figure. So just for now, I am saying what is electron gun. Now this electron gun is treated as a source of the electrons, and a beam of the electrons emitted from this electron gun passes through the systems, the focusing system and some deflection system over here, that direct the beam towards the specified position of this particular fluorescent screen, which is nothing but called as phosphor coated screen, right? So the phosphor then emits some spot of the light, right? At the spot of the light at each position contacted by this electron beam, right? And this phosphor coated, I mean the light, whatever is glows or whatever this, whenever this beam fall on this particular screen, then only this phosphor coated screen or this particular point glows, and you will get some visual effect on the screen, right? Then, however, this phosphor coated screen fades rapidly, right? So that means whatever, I mean, there is a persistence. We'll discuss again in later. So let me quickly discuss what exactly this electron gun is and what it contains. So this is nothing but the operation of an electron gun. If you can see here in details, and this electron gun basically contains two different things. One is called as this heating filament, right? Heating filament, and which is coated with, there is a cylinder, a cylindrical structure called as cathode. Inside this cathode tube, there is something called as a heating filament, right? And one more important part of this electron gone is the control grid, right? The control grid. So what happens here is, now the heat is supplied. The heat is supplied to this cathode, and this is one of the picture what I'm showing. The original picture, if you want to see, I would like to show you the original pictures, right? So this type of, I think, vacuum tube structure you might have seen the old televisions or maybe the old monitors what people were using maybe few days. People are using, right, these computers, where you will find the CRT based output devices, right, monitors. So see here the connectors, and then the heating filament over here. It's only one part which I'm saying. And if you look at, there is a cylindrical structure cathode which is just surrounded over this heating filament, right? So the moment you will supply this electrical energy, right, when you will pass to it, so the cathode, the cathode surface basically, and when the heat is supplied to this particular filament, what will happen is the electrons will be boiled off from this cathode surface, and the electrons means here the negatively charged electrons, right? And the negative charge electrons definitely when it will come out of this place, right? So it will move around here and there, around here and there, and there is something called as a control grid here, which will control the flow of the electrons, or else what will happen? Now the electrons will move here and there inside this vacuum tube, but that we don't want. Well, finally, we want to converge all these electron beams onto this screen, right? Onto the screen. So that is why. So the job of the control grid here is to control the movement of the electrons, right? The flow of the electrons, and that is what the job of the control grid is, so that the electrons cannot move freely inside the vacuum tube, right? And there is something called as, there is a focusing system. If you look at here, so there is a focusing system thereafter the electron gone, and the job of the focusing system is here. It is basically used to force the electron beam, what you can see over here, the electron beam to converge into a specific spot over here, okay, in a small spot which strikes on this phosphorus coated screen, and for which you are getting the light is emitted, right? Then there is something called as deflection plates. So we are having focusing systems as well as the deflection plates. We are having two different types of deflection plates. One is horizontal deflection plates, and there is something called as vertical deflection plates. And both are used to control the electron beam, and both are important to handle the directions of the electron beam, right? So one is from left to right, the horizontal deflection plate, and the vertical deflection plate is basically used to manage the directions from top to bottom, right? You have to scan it. I mean, the electron beam will rotate over here from top to bottom and from left to right. So then only we'll get some output on the screen. And what is nothing but we are getting is nothing but some in the form of some pictures and all, right? So if you want, you can get or you can also read the details of this functionality of each part or each component of this CRT and all. But this is what is the basic thing of what we have discussed right now, that there is an electron gun, and electron gun is very important here. The job of electron gun is to emit a beam of the electrons, right? And this beam of the electrons may be moved here and there. And that is why there is something called as a control grid in the electron beam, and that controls the flow of the electrons. And the focusing system is to focus the electrons, right? Is to force, basically it used to force the electron beams to converge onto a particular region of a phosphor coated screen. And this phosphor coated screen is basically, again, there is some physics concept over here, why this, when the electrons are coming here and these phosphor atoms are coated over here, and why it gives us some visual signals, right? So, I mean, there is an energy concept here when these electrons are coming and falling onto this phosphor screen, then the phosphor atoms gets excited, and then finally we are getting some visual signals over there, right? And the different types of this phosphors are available, different types of phosphors, and that depends upon their persistence, how long they continue to emit their light. As I mentioned, this phosphors fades rapidly. So that is why the persistence is the major concept here. And this persistence is called as here how long it continues to emit the light after the CRT beam is removed, right? After this one is removed, because this electron beam is once it is removed from one particular place, so how long it continues to emit the light. That is what is called as the persistence, right? And the lower persistence phosphors require higher refresh rate, right? So that's where the refresh rate concept is also required here. We have to, and we have also discussed about the concept of the refresh rate earlier, right? And here also it is important to understand what is refresh rate, right? So one way to keep the phosphor glowing, phosphor glowing is to redraw the pictures, by the help of this electron beam, of course, repeatedly by quickly directing the electron beam back over the same points, right? That is what is called as, and that's why sometimes this type of CRT monitors are called as refresh CRT monitors, right? Refresh CRT monitors. So this is what is the concept of, the design principle of CRT, and there are so many different types of CRT displays available. So I have already talked about three, right? So let us discuss those three displays which are designed based on this CRT concept. So one is DVST, right? Direct view storage tube. There is something called as calligraphic or vector, or also called as random scan display system, and there's something called as raster scan display system. We'll see one by one. So let us start with DVST, right? So DVST is called as direct view storage tube. So it is a CRT with a long persistence phosphor. This is CRT with a long persistence phosphor. So it provides flicker-free display. You all know what is flickering, right? So no refreshing is necessary here. In this case of DVST, it has some advantages. It has also some disadvantages. So in this case, a slow moving electron beam draws a line on the screen. Every time, whenever we're talking about display, the all display is basically used to draw some pictures, right? Our ultimate goal is to draw the pictures on the screen. Okay, we are talking about the graphic system, and in graphic system, we are only talking about the output devices right now, and which is nothing but the display monitor. And these are all different types of monitors, display systems designed based on the concept of CRT. That's what we are discussing, right? So slow moving electron beam draws a line on the screen, and then the screen has a storage mesh in which the phosphor is embedded. The image is stored. Let's see how the image is stored. The image is stored as a distribution of the distribution of the charges on the inside surface of the screen. It has some limited interactive support. Okay, so that means it cannot interact with this. We are talking about always this interactive computer graphics. We have already discussed, right? So interactive, that means the user will have control over all the devices in the graphic system, but here it has limited interactive support. Right, so let us quickly discuss few drawbacks of these DVST systems. So if you want to modify some part of the images, okay, in this particular type of display systems, if you want to modify some part of the images, you can't do that. Okay, what you have to do is you have to redraw the entire image. You have to modify the entire image itself. So change in a particular part of image requires to generate a new charge distribution, right? The old charge distribution will not be helpful in this case. So what you have to do is you have to modify every part of this image. So that means you have to redraw the image once again. So that is what is the major drawback of a DVST system, right? So slow process of drawing, of course, and typically a few seconds are necessary for a complex picture whenever we're talking about a complex picture, right? So next is the calligraphic or random scan display system, right? Random scan display system, very important actually, this random scan and the raster scan. And you may find some questions based on it. How this random scan display system is different from this raster scan different system. What is the example of these display systems where random scan display systems are used and where these raster scan display systems are used, right? So this random scan display system, whenever we're talking about this random scan display system, It is also called as, please remember, so very important, it is also called as vectors, stroke or line drawing displays. Three different names, and also one more name is calligraphic, right? Calligraphic or random scan display systems, also called as vector display system, also called as stroke or line drawing displays, right? So here what happens, right? And again, it is based on the concept of CRT design, right? So CRT in this case that has the electron beam directed only to the parts of the screen where the picture is to be drawn, right? In contrast, whenever we'll discuss about this raster scan system, the electron beam is swept across the screen, right? One row at a time from top to bottom, we will see. However, compared to this raster scan system, in case of this random scan, the electron beam is only directed to those parts of the screen where the picture will be drawn, right? As and one more important thing here is this random scan monitors draws pictures one line at a time. Please remember, one line at a time. So that is why it is also called as line drawing displays, right? One line at a time. So that is why the name is vector display, stroke writing display, calligraphic displays, also called as line drawing displays. So if you see here the points, the characters are also here made of sequences of strokes or short lines, right? And that is what is called as vector. The electron beam is deflected from end point to end point. There will be 2 points, and then you can easily connect it and you can form a line. So that's what it is called as line drawing displays. And why it is called as random? Because the order of deflection is detected by the arbitrary order of the display commands, right? So I'll show you with one example of why it is called as random, right? Because the component lines of any picture, if you want to draw any picture on the screen using this monitor or using these display systems, and this display system, the pictures can be drawn and refreshed by a random scan system in any order, in any specified order, right? And I'll show you the example. You look at here. You look at here, the random scan display system draws a set of lines in any order. So here, basically, we want to draw some objects on the screen, and if you look at how it is drawn on the screen using this random scan system, arbitrary line drawing, arbitrary. From any point it can start and it can complete the structure of the object arbitrarily. So that is why if you look at the pictures here, and here, and again here, and again finally will come up with one object here. So that is why the name is actually random scan, right? The random scan display system, which draws a set of lines in any order. Okay, so there is no specified order, rather it draws in any specified order. So the example for this type of systems are pen plotters. I hope you all have gone through these output devices and input devices, which I have given as an assignment earlier, right? So pen plotter is an example of random scan based system, pen plotter, right? So have you gone through the input devices and output devices? So these are also the part of a graphic system. So that's why I told earlier also, please go through different types of input devices and output devices, right? And you all know that pen plotter is a type of, so pen plotter is a type of, what type of device? Pen plotter, we can say. Yeah, I'm waiting for your response. pen plotter. Pen plotter, as I said, that pen plotter operates or uses the concept of random scan displays, right? So I have given an example of pen plotter which follows the concept of random scan, right? I hope you can also easily map with this one, right? So why this pen plotter is follows this one? Because you can draw any pictures randomly in any order, right? By the help of the lines. So that's why it is called as sometimes line drawing displays, right? Line drawing displays. And all these picture informations, the refresh rate on a random scan system depends on the refresh rate, right? The refresh rate on a random scan system depends on the number of lines to be displayed, number of lines. And the picture definition is stored as a set of line drawing commands here, right? An area in some part of the memory we all know, which is called as frame buffer or refresh buffer, right? So there, the every information regarding the line drawing will be kept. Yeah. And that is what is a random scan display system, right? So we have already talked about this refresh buffer or frame buffer earlier, right? The display must be refreshed at regular intervals and the minimum of 30 hertz for flicker-free display that we have already discussed. The range of the refresh rate of which are extensively used, right? The refresh buffer also we have discussed. The frame buffer, if you can remember, right? The memory space allocated to store the display informations. And there is something called as a display for operating graphics, I mean, dedicated for doing or performing some graphics operations. Like it is similar to a processor we have, but it is a separate one. We have also seen it, right? And what it basically finally generates is nothing but a vector, right? Vector generates. So the display controller finally generates some vectors, and with the help of these vectors or the lines, you will draw the pictures on the monitor. That is what is vector one, vector generator, right? Yeah. So coming to the persistence we have already discussed, and flow. This is also one of the term which is so important. The phosphor coated screen or the fluorescent screen, because of which we are getting some light on the screen, right? And that's why we are getting some light on the screen, and ultimately we are also getting some pictures on the screen. So phosphorus persistence also we have talked about, right? How long it emits the light. So that is what is phosphorus persistence is all about. And the short persistence, when you talk about short persistence, so it will be around 10 to 60 microsecond. And long persistence means it will be more than this one. Right. So now we're coming to the last display system, I mean the final display system, and the most important display system we can talk about, which is called as refresh or raster scan display system. Very important, and it is used widely in television screens, right? So pen plotter is an example of a random scan based display system. However, the televisions whatever we're using, I mean, not now, because we are using LCD based screen and LED based screens. Some when one is MEC, when one is non-MEC, we'll see later on, which is called as flat panel devices, right? So we'll see it later on. But what we are talking right now is the display systems based on the CRT, right? And the television screens mostly uses this raster. I mean, the old television, right? Raster scan display systems. So what is the difference between this random scan and raster scan? The major difference is, in case of this raster scan based system, the electron beam is swept across the screen, not only a part of the screen where the images will be drawn, but we already talked about in case of random scan, right? Rather, what it will do is the electron beam is swept across the screen one row at a time. Remember, one row at a time from top to the bottom. I will show you that what is called as horizontal retrace and vertical retrace with one particular figure, right? One thing here you have to remember, the electron beam, as I mentioned, moves across each row, right? Each row, just imagine each row, and each row is called as a scan line, and the beam of the beam intensity is either turned off or turned in. So then only you will get some spots or illuminated spot on the screen, right? And again, uh, the picture definition here, the picture definition, what we call it, the picture or the display informations will be stored in something called as refresh buffer or frame buffer, right? So that means here it is written, if you see, if you read the lines, the unlike DVST and random scan, which were line drawing devices, refresh CRT, right, or you can call it as a raster scan display system, is a point plotting device. So you have to you have to draw the objects point wise, and here the points means that where we all know that it is arranged in row and column fashions. It is called as a raster, and the points are nothing but called as, we can say, the points are nothing but called as the points in the raster systems are called as, we've already talked about it. Yes, the points are nothing but called as pixels, or sometimes it is called as pel, pixel or pel. I'll write it here. Pixel or pel. This is nothing, the fundamental units of any raster based system. Fine. And we've already talked about it. So here the raster displays store the display primitives. So what exactly this refresh buffer and the frame buffer stores? The display primitives, the primitives like lines, characters, headed and pattern areas. And the refresh buffer we've already talked about, right? So no need to discuss much about it. The refresh buffer, right? And the architecture, if you see the architecture of a raster-based graphics system, right? The raster-based graphics systems, which we already know. So there is something called as a CPU system, and there is system memory, and inside system memory there will be a dedicated frame buffer, right? Then there is something called as video controller, right? Here you can see there is something called as frame buffer as a fixed portion of the system memory, right? Called as frame buffer. So in case of this refresh and raster scan display system, here it is written, the entire screen is nothing but is a matrix of pixels, what we already know. And each pixel brightness, the intensities can be controlled, and the values we have already discussed, right? For different systems, right? For binary and for black and white, I mean for the gray level, and for the color system, we have already discussed about the bit path, the I mean that how much memory, I mean how many beats are required, how many colors are required in each of the cases we have talked about already, right? Starting from 1 bit to 2 bit to 24 bits for the color images, if you can remember, right? We have already talked about it. So this is what is called as a random scan and raster scan. So I will right now show you one example, like I have shown in case of random scan display system, right? So in random scan display systems, if you can remember, we were designing one object by drawing the lines in any order, right? But here, as I mentioned, and the electron beam here will swept across the screen one row at a time from top to bottom, So you have to see one line, one line, one line, one line. So then finally you will come up with the object after you complete the I mean the drawing all these points. And the most important thing is, and the major difference is I mentioned that it completes, or it takes, or it moves, the electron beam moves across the screen, right? So that is the most important thing here you have to remember. And object here, when we talk about an object, here object is not consisting of the, or not designed using the set of lines. Rather, here object is designed as a set of discrete points called as pixels across each scan line wherever it is required. So we are calling each line is a scan line here. So then we'll right now discuss about what do you mean by horizontal retrace and vertical retrace. So what I mentioned here is the electron beam swept across the screen, one row at a time. So then one row at a time, then how it is being traced. Let's say the first line, just look at the first line. So once you started with the left point, the leftmost point, and let's say you are here at the rightmost point in the first scan line. So then where will be the next point, right? So where will be the next point? I mean, where the electron beam or where the electron beam will point to. I mean, whether it will drop from this rightmost point or from the leftmost point in the next time or in the next scan line. So in the next scan line, so it will, any guess, who can guess over here? So what I mentioned is the electron beam will scan across each different rows from left to right and from top to left. Sorry, from top to down. Any guess that how the retrace will be done here? Any guess? So I could see two different answers by this Priya and Nitin. Rightmost point of the next line. Okay. Any other answer from any other body? Any other answer? Once the drawing of the first scan line, I mean, once the drawing of the first scan line is completed, the beam will return to the left hand side or will start from that side? That's what I'm asking. And it is only possible with the help of electron beam, right? From that side itself. Okay. Okay, I'll show you one figure related to that. This one actually. This one is the correct one. So at the end of, if you see here, at the end of each scan line, the electron beam returns. The electron beam returns to the left hand side of the screen to begin the display, to begin displaying the next scan line, right? So at the end of the each scan line, the electron beam comes back to the left hand side again, okay, next time, while it generates the next scan line. Fine. And the return to the left, this return to the left of the screen after refreshing each scan line, the return to the left hand side, right, to the left hand side of the screen after refreshing each scan line is called as horizontal retrace. It's called as horizontal retrace, right? And then again, next, every time, if you see, every time the same pattern the electron beam will follow, the same pattern the electron beam will follow. But once you complete all the scan line over the screen, if you remember, I mentioned earlier that, right, the electron beam will swept across the screen one row at a time, which is called a scan line, from top to bottom, right, from top to bottom. So then at the end of each frame, right, okay, the electron beam, at the end of each frame, the electron beam returns to the top left hand corner. The electron beam returns to the top left hand corner, right, of the screen to begin the next frame, which is called as vertical retrace. So there are two things here. One is the vertical retrace and one is called as horizontal retrace in case of raster scan display that we know, right? So what we have discussed till now is the design principle behind CRT monitors, right? How this electron and what it contains, what are the different types of components CRT is having. One is the electron gun, and electron gun will have different types of components like heating filament, cathode, control grid, and we have discussed about the job of different components of electron gun. And then we have talked about three different types of display systems which are designed based on the principle of CRT. One is DVST, one is random scan display, and one is raster scan display. And also we have talked about the difference between the random scan display and raster scan display. One is called as line drawing and vector, and another one is called as refresh, right? Refresh system or refresh display systems, or raster scan display systems. And we all know what do you mean by a raster. And here the screen is full of pixels, discrete points, pixels, right? And here we are not focusing only those part of the screen where the pictures are drawn, rather we are focusing on the whole screen, right? And also we have discussed about two different, I mean, the examples of raster scan based system, which is nothing but the television. Okay, the television technology are mostly based on this raster scan system. And in case of this random scan, it is nothing but pen plotter. And because pen plotters are basically used to draw the objects by using the lines in random order. So that is what is called as a random scan display. In the example, so in case of color monitors, there will be three different electron guns in place. Instead of one electron gun in what we have seen just now for a monochrome CRT monitor, for color CRT monitors, there will be three different electron guns. Can somebody guess why there are three electron guns in case of color CRT monitors? Yes, I could see some correct answers in the chat box. That three electron gons, one is for red, one is for green, and one is for blue. Absolutely correct answer. So we'll see how these three different electron beams, electron gons are basically are used to emit several different types of lights on the screen, right? We'll see it. And as I mentioned, that what we are right now actually using are nothing but flat panel displays, right? The flat panel displays we are using right now, the flat panel devices or displays. Flat panel. One more class is required to complete all this concept and all. I mean, this theoretical concept behind this graphic systems. So they may be. Then after one class, we'll start the scan conversion algorithms to draw the lines, to draw circles and ellipses and all. So flat panel displays. Although most of the graphics monitors are still developed with the concept of the CRT or based on CRT designs, but there are technologies which are emerging right now, right? Which will, of course, replace the CRT monitors and termed as flat panel displays. And the name, the flat panel display, refers to a class of video devices, a group of video devices, you can say, that have reduced volume, okay? A group of video devices, right, that have reduced volume, weight, of course. पुराना जो टेलीविजन था उसका वजन ज्यादा था, अगर आप लोग को याद होगा तो घर पे पड़ा होगा पुराना वाला, right? Have reduced volume, weight, and also power requirement, right? Compared to CRT. So compared to CRT, The flat panel displays are having reduced volume, reduced weight, and power requirements, right? And mostly these are thinner, right? These are thinner compared to this CRT. So that is why we can right now we are right now hanging them in different walls, and we can also keep it in your pockets, right? There are some flat panel displays available. You can keep it in your pockets, right? And these are all these flat panel devices, like this small TV monitors, whatever you are seeing, some calculators, some pocket video games, and the laptop, whatever we are using. And these are all coming under this category, this flat panel displays that you all know. These flat panel displays are basically of two types. This flat panel displays are of two types. One is emissive displays. Second one is called as non-emissive displays. Right? So these emissive displays are sometimes called as emitters, are such devices that converts electrical energy into light energy. Electrical energy into light energy. Right? So the LED, anyone knows the full form of LED? I think everybody knows, right? Still, let me ask. Yeah, the LED plasma panels. And LED are coming under these categories, right? The emissive displays. But there is something called as non-emissive displays, okay, which use optical effects to convert sunlight or some light from some other source into graphics patterns, right? And the most important example in this type of particular for this particular category is nothing but LCD. So what is LCD? What's the full form of LCD? So non-emissive displays are called as non-emitters. Similarly, it is called as, in case of emissive displays, it is called as emitters. So here it is called as non-emitters. So I mentioned, so it use optical effects to convert sunlight or light from some other source, right, to graphics patterns. So what is this LCD? Liquid crystal display. Very good. Okay, so this liquid crystal device is called as LCD, and please go through that how the images are generated. Please go through. This is very interesting actually. Please go through, at least in brief, that how the images are generated. We have talked about only the CRT monitors where there is an electron beam, and the electron beams are responsible for drawing the images on the screen with the help of this fluorescent screen and all or other components, some deflection systems and focusing systems, right? But here in this case, it is little bit different and interesting as well. So at least you can go through these three other examples are there. Please go through the principle behind and how the images are generated using this LCD liquid crystal device, as well as light emitting diode and plasma panels. It is like your assignment. Please try to read by yourself. You can pick up any book and you can read it, or else you can take the help of any other resources, I mean internet or YouTube or videos, whatever you want. Please go through. So I can, so what I will do in the next class is I will first ask the question. I randomly choose anybody, and he or she has to explain what is LCD and how, in brief actually. So in brief, that how LCD forms and pictures, okay, and what is the input to this LCD and what will be the output, and how the outputs are generated on the screen in the liquid crystal display devices, right? As well as in the light emitting devices, what we are currently using, right? CRT monitors we are not using extensively right now. Yes, there are some computers maybe you will find in the maybe some old offices or some of the old organizations if you go there. So you may find those type of, and there are also televisions. I think in my home also I'm having one old television which is designed based on this CRT concept, right? So there are three things here. One is plasma panels. Flat panel displays is so important. We all know that, and we have talked about the importances and the advantages of these flat panel devices. And it's basically it is thinner compared to the CRT, and that is why it is easier right now. It takes very less space. Okay, to even you can you can hang them on the wall. And there are two different types of flat panel displays. One is emissive, one is non-emissive. Okay, so why the name is emissive, why the name is non-emissive, and what is the job of the, and the two most important examples of this type of categories is nothing but plasma panels and LED. And however, in case of non-emissive displays, it is called as non-emitters. The LCD is coming under these categories. So please go through at least the basic principles behind this LED and LCD. So tomorrow, tomorrow we are having, as I mentioned, that I will take one more class to complete all this concept and all this, and also we'll discuss about the color CRT monitors, right? Color CRT monitors, we will discuss two different types. One is shadow mask method and beam penetration method, which we'll see that what are the different types of colors are possible, and what is the problem with the beam penetration method, and why we're discussing about shadow mask method, and why we are so much interested in shadow mask method also, we'll see. Okay, then. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Sir, sir, sir.
Hello, Nitin.
Yes, sir.